Welcome to Better Every Day, your source of information in matters of self-improvement, health, motivation, and self-help. Hello and nice to see you again. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you can be updated of the latest videos which might be of help to your self-improvement. The Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita of the Imperial Japanese Army, also called Yamashita Hōbun, was born on November 8, 1885. Was known for his successful attacks on Malaya and Singapore during World War II. Over 70 years ago, on September 2, 1945, Yamashita surrendered to the Allied forces at Keangan, Luzon, Philippines. It was an important day, for it was on this day that a significant event marks the end of the Second World War in the Asia-Pacific. The Americans arrived at Kiangan to fetch Yamashita the following day on September 3, 1945. He was then flown to Baguio City, where he signed his formal surrender papers. Here are the facts about the Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita. By 1941, Yamashita was appointed Commanding General of 25th Army for the invasion of Singapore and Malaya. The invasion of Malaya began on December 8, 1941. The Japanese force was about one-third as large as the opposing British forces in Malaya and Singapore, but the Japanese possessed material superiority in tanks and aircrafts. They planned to conquer Malaya and Singapore in the shortest time possible to reduce the potential loss. After a week of intense fighting, Yamashita's 30,000 frontline soldiers captured 80,000 British, Indian, and Australian troops. The British Lieutenant General Arthur E. Percival was forced to surrender Singapore. On February 15, 1942 was the fall of Singapore. For this success, he was crowned the Tiger of Malaya. Yamashita was appointed as the commanding general of the 14th Area Army. He was sent to command the defense of the Philippines from the advancing Allied forces. MacArthur and his army landed in Leyte days after Yamashita's arrival at Manila, and readily crushed the Japanese garrison there. Immediately when Yamashita learned of the invasion, he reluctantly commanded troops stationed at Luzon to strengthen Leyte's outnumbered garrison. Eventually, 75,000 Japanese soldiers would be thrown into the fight on Leyte, and in 2 months, by late December, Yamashita had lost 60,000 soldiers killed. MacArthur called the Battle of Leyte perhaps the greatest defeat of the Japanese army. Yamashita commanded approximately 262,000 troops in 3 defensive groups. The largest is the Shobu Group with 152,000 troops, defended northern Luzon under his command. The second group is the Shimbu Group with 80,000 men defended Manila and southern Luzon under the command of Shizu Yokoyama. The smallest group is the Kembu Group with 30,000 troops, defended Bataan and the western shores under the command of Rikichi Chukado. After the Battle of Leyte were the battles for Luzon and Manila. Yamashita understood that Manila was worthless strategically, and moved his headquarters to Baguio north of Manila. Imperial Japanese Navy Rear Admiral Sanji Iwabuchi reoccupied Manila with 16,000 sailors, with the intention of destroying all port facilities and naval storehouses, and turned the city into a battlefield, known as the Manila Massacre. When MacArthur's forces neared Baguio, he moved his headquarters once again northward to Bangbang and northern Luzon. Japanese soldiers would shoot, bayonet, or throw hand grenades at groups of helpless civilians with little or no reason at all. About 100,000 were killed indiscriminately and deliberately during the Battle of Manila. In the war crime trials against the commanders of the Imperial Japanese forces, many of these atrocities were mentioned. Yamashita continued to use guerrilla tactics to maintain his army in Kiangan. On September 2, 1945, with nowhere else to go, Yamashita surrendered to the American troops at Keangan, Luzon, Philippines. An American military commission in Manila tried General Yamashita on war crimes charges relating to the Manila Massacre and many wartime atrocities. The hurried trial and execution led to allegation that he was wrongfully charged for his crimes. The court found Yamashita guilty as charged and sentenced him to death. Yamashita was executed by hanging on February 23, 1946. Yamashita's treasure is the name given to the rumored looted treasure stolen in Southeast Asia by Imperial Japanese forces during World War II, hidden in caves, tunnels, and undergrounds in the Philippines. According to legend, the slaves who constructed tunnels were sealed up and left to die inside so nobody would reveal its true location. There you go, guys! I hope you learned something about General Tomoyuki Yamashita and the significant event that happened on September 3, 1945. If you like this video, please share it to others to help them as well. That's all for now. Goodbye!